In New Jersey, voters are electing a new governor. In New York City, a new mayor. We dabble in both. The Point starts right now. There are 11 people, 6 Democrats, running to replace Phil Murphy as governor of the Garden State. Congressman Josh Gottheimer is here to tell us why he thinks he should be the Democratic nominee. So tell me, why should you be the Democratic nominee?
Well, first, thanks for having me.
And why do you stand out from the pack?
For one clear reason. I'm the only one running who's focused on lower taxes and lower costs, right? And obviously, we all want to support and back Jersey values and stand up for reproductive freedom and clean air and clean water. But I'm the only one that's put out a tax cut plan for the state.
15%?
To lower property taxes by 15%.
How are you going to do that?
A middle-class income tax cut, a rental rebate, and if you're a senior and you turn 70 in the state of New Jersey, we're giving you a break, and it's all paid for.
Josh, where do you get the money?
So I know this is going to sound crazy, but we can actually run the government in Jersey a lot more efficiently. We have 564 towns in New Jersey. We literally do things like buy salt for the roads, often town by town. We buy our health care that way. We don't do anything. We don't buy Costco style. We buy local.
Very Trumpian.
No, we actually, because you know why? I actually want to keep the good stuff, but actually just run government better. What is Trump doing? Slash and burn, and without any strategy. And what we need in New Jersey is actually common sense, being smart, actually, and I know you're not going to love this, but go after New York, sticks it to Jersey all the time. The congestion tax is just one thing. If you work in New Jersey at a desk in Jersey, but for a New York company, New York thinks they should take all the income tax, right? Like, it's ridiculous. There's things like that when you add them up, issue after issue, I can give people a tax cut, make their lives more affordable, help them with child care costs, which are out of control, second highest in the country.
How are you going to get to keep some of the tax money that New York says is theirs?
Because, like in every other state, for some reason, New York, when you work actually in the state, you get to keep it. New York, for some reason, forever has said to Jersey, we're keeping it. And by the way, I'm going to fight because...
How can you stop New York from keeping it?
We're just going to sue. We're just going to sue New York and actually have people like other states have done and get the money for Jersey. And these are the kind of things we're going to do. We're actually going to stand up and fight. Just like, by the way, be very clear, when Trump messes with our families, like he's doing now, I'm going to be there fighting him. Like I've always, listen, you mess with Jersey families, I'm going to fight for you and do what's best for New Jersey. Help make people's lives more affordable in New Jersey. And that's always been my focus, as you know, Marcia. I've gotten it done, issue after issue. You know, getting the Gateway train tunnel built, help fixing our roads, child tax credit expanded. I helped get that done. You know, we actually can do tough things. We just have to be willing to fight to get them done and solve problems.
So I want to digress for just a second from the Jersey race to talk to you about your other hat, your congressional office, and the fact that there's been sort of a scandal of sorts this past week with the Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, you know, sending out all the plans for how they were going to go after and attack the Houthis in Yemen. How is that acceptable, and why is he still in office?
I mean, it's saying it's unacceptable is like an understatement. I called for him to resign because I'm on the Intelligence Committee. The idea that you'd have the Secretary of Defense post in a chat literally the game plan for an attack against one of our key enemies, the Houthis, who are an adversary of the United States of America, but the fact that, well, while you have U.S. servicemen and women in harm's way and in attack, and show where they're going to be hours ahead of when the attack occurs and put their lives in danger is totally unacceptable. That's classified information. That should not be on a signal chat, any kind of chat. And as someone, again, who's on the committee, like, there's a reason why we protect classified information, so you never want to put anyone's lives in danger, especially our servicemen.
How do the people on the committee think about it, even the Republicans on the committee? Are they willing to go and have a hearing and say, hey, wait a minute, maybe you should resign, or are they going to back him up? Well,
I think what you've seen is you haven't seen a lot of people out there defending their actions because it's indefensible, what the Secretary of Defense did. And I said they should all come and have to testify and understand how this happened, how we handle, and how we're careful about how we handle classified information. Listen, the most important thing we do in the intelligence community is protect our men and women who defend our freedoms. You never want to put their lives in danger, and the fact is this was just, you know, he knows better, and he should never have done this, and it's why he's got to leave.
Should we be using Signal as a way to communicate with people from in the agency and in the administration? We
have systems for handling classified information, and Signal is not. You don't put classified information over Signal. Just like I won't talk to you about what I learned in the Intelligence Committee yesterday, I'm not going to put it on my chats, and I'm not going to talk about it in public.
So I want to get back to the New Jersey gubernatorial race. One of the things that's been a big perennial problem, I know you're Mr. Transit, is NJ Transit and the fact that it really is a terrible, terrible railroad. And I wonder why, given the fact that it's been so terrible and people complain about it, why has nobody done anything about it to fix it? And what's the solution?
Well, listen, I think it's not a terrible, terrible railroad. It just needs the right investment.
But it has no, I mean,
and right now there's...
Talk to anybody who has to take it. They hate it.
Listen, I've been very clear about these summers of hell that we're having where people are stuck on the trains, and I've come out and said those people should all get their money back.
So
if you're stuck for hours, you're going to have to actually invest in new cars, in new technology. The problem is, well, the current governor just put forth a budget to help address the car situation. He's put money aside for that. You either are going to make a decision. We're either going to have a transit system that works and get people to work and can get people around, or you're going to abandon it. We can't, as the great state of New Jersey, can't step aside from having a great transit system. So we're going to make it work for people so they can get to work on time. They can have a good experience. I'm not going to turn into the MTA here and what's happened with the subway system in New York, right? We're actually going to make sure that New Jersey Transit is great for people, can get them to work on time and see family and loved ones.
So Jack Ciattarelli, who you know is a Republican running for governor, was on this show a few weeks ago, and he suggested that you take all the transit organizations in New Jersey and put them under one roof, including the Garden State Parkway, the Thruway, the gas tax, and NJ Transit, and use all the money you get to fix NJ Transit. Is that an idea that could fly?
Well, I haven't seen his plan, but one thing I won't do is I'm not going to let our roads fall apart because we're not paying attention. You're going to have to...
Well, obviously it would all be the same thing, but you'd have this money.
Listen, what I'm for is anything, if there's something that's smarter and more efficient way to do it and can save money and help people, of course I'm going to look at whatever the plan is. But I'll tell you this, you got to invest in New Jersey Transit. We got to make sure people can get to work. It's why I helped write and pass and negotiate the infrastructure bill, which has gotten huge investment into our roads and bridges and mass transit, the Gateway train tunnel. We got to invest in infrastructure so people can get around. What's not okay by me, and that other people have talked about, is actually gutting these things and walking away. That's not okay, and so that's what I think we should do.
So you are Mr. Congestion Pricing. If there's anybody in New Jersey who's fought harder, I don't know of anybody. So what about the idea of charging a reverse congestion pricing fee? Anybody coming from New York has to pay to come into the Garden State.
So bad idea? Marcia, I want you to come to the Garden State and shop in our stores and eat in our restaurants, right? So I want to do everything. This is why there should be no congestion tax. We have the Port Authority, right? When you to go over into New Jersey and New York, you got to pay a fee, right? I think it's too much, but you got to pay to go over the bridge and through the tunnels. That is, in my opinion, what that's a toll that people are paying, and that's plenty. And I think it's too much. So the idea that we would charge anyone more and hurt hardworking people who are trying to get to work or going to try to see family is outrageous. The New York congestion tax, as you know, and we've been fighting this for years, and the good news is I could see on the horizon this thing's ending. The good, and you know, like we're days away.
So is Governor Hochul going to make a deal with Donald Trump to get rid of congestion pricing?
I mean, it seems like the writing's on the wall that they've got fewer than 30 days left to get rid of this thing. The administration's been pretty clear about that and reinforce what we've said all along. This is nothing but picking the pockets of hardworking people who are trying to get by.
But the MTA says it needs that money to fix a system that's 120 years old and falling apart.
Then the MTA should do their job and start collecting fares from people. They lost $700 million last year to fare skippers. Half the people who ride, by their own studies, half the people who ride the buses in New York, you know, don't even pay to ride. So why don't they start collecting the money to ride, invest in
$700 million is a drop in the bucket.
But Jersey, why are you making people from Jersey, hard nurses and electricians and cops and firefighters, why are we making them pay for New York's complete mismanagement of the MTA? They should fix their own shop. John O'Leary keeps criticizing everybody else. He should look in the mirror, fix his own problems at the MTA, and get it done. Don't put more pollution into northern New Jersey and blame people in Jersey for their problems.
But is the MTA really that inefficient?
I mean, if you want to defend the MTA, go ahead.
No, I'm not.
But
I'm asking you.
No,
I'm not a defender of anything.
By the way,
I'm just a question
I've
expert.
studied the MTA, and given what the federal government invests in the MTA, what it costs to ride on the subway and the buses, and those if they were running a good ship, they would actually be able to pay for what they're doing. You know, they blew $1 billion by building a stop on the Second Avenue subway by accident too big. $1 billion, right? So if you ask me, you got to run things better. That's what I'm going to do in New Jersey when I'm governor. We're going to run stuff better and make sure that when we actually are smart about how we run the government, smart about how we run New Jersey Transit, and we're going to get more money back from the federal government because I think we don't get enough back, Jersey, and we're going to save people money, cut their taxes, lower their costs. We got to make life more affordable for people, Marcia, because people, all they say to me at diners is, I love Jersey like I do. I grew up there. I'm from Jersey. I love it there. I love the beaches and the lakes, love the whole thing. But they say, I can't afford to live here. It's too damn expensive. Can you help? They can't afford their property taxes, which are the highest in the country. We got to cut them, right? They can't afford utility bills, which are going up 20%. We got to lower them. So that's where I'm focused obsessively with making life more affordable for hardworking folks.
Okay, and on that note, we have to leave it right there for now. But our conversation continues right after the show on our streaming channel, CBS News New York. Corinne Fisher is a writer, actor, and comedian who wants to be mayor of New York City. No joke. So why do you want to be mayor?
Yeah, I want to be mayor because I'm an everyday New Yorker, and I was sitting in my apartment for the past, I don't know, 20-something years, and I'm just sick of being lied to and betrayed by the people that we vote into office. And I think people, specifically at this point in time, because of people like AOC, and even I got to give Donald Trump credit, are thirsty for somebody new, somebody who's going to speak to them transparently, not use jargon that we only hear in the New York Times, and make a commitment to fight for them every single day. And that's something that I feel really confident that I can do.
Well, you have a lot of interesting ideas.
Thanks.
One of which is that you think that there should be regular mental health checks for police officers. Tell me about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the keys to safety in New York City is healing the wound that obviously exists between the NYPD and the people of New York. You know, the left, we tried defund the police. That did not work. People said, no, I don't want to defund the police. We want the police here. So if the police are here, we need to make sure that they're taken care of. PAPA already exists where police can access mental health care, but it's just there if they need it.
But the implication is that they're not mentally stable.
Oh, no, I don't think that's, I don't think anyone in New York City is really mentally stable. I think it's a really hard city to live in, and we all need mental health support. And I love that you brought that up because I think there is this stigma around it, right? So if it's mandated for everybody, then the stigma doesn't exist. I think especially men have a hard time saying, I need mental health support. And if it's just part of their everyday experience, just like a physical checkup, a mental health checkup, then it wouldn't be so weird.
So you also want to raise money by having tourists pay a fee to come to New York. Tell me about that.
Yes, saw that. Well, it's not necessarily that we have to do that, but I think a lot of times when people present new policy, especially people on the left, it seems like this pie in the sky idea. And we say to everything, well, how are we going to pay for that? Everyone is already struggling. So I think that my first step as mayor would be looking at doing an audit, seeing what are we spending money on, what is working, what is not working, and reallocating funds. That's step one. And then step two, I think, would be to make sure that we're not giving extra fees to New Yorkers. We're always hit with extra fees. We just got one in the congestion fee. We'll see if Donald Trump keeps that or not. But I think to give tourists the fee is the right direction. No one's going to stop coming to New York City.
How much would you charge them?
I'm talking like $5 extra when you check into a hotel, something that you don't notice. Las Vegas is a city that already does this. It's known for its destination fees. And I think like New York City is one of the only cities that can claim it's as unique and magical as Las Vegas. And so people aren't going to stop coming to New York City the way they might stop visiting other cities. So I think it's something that works out for everybody.
So what would you use that money for?
Any services that need it. We talk about affordable housing we need so desperately, getting mental health support for people who are experiencing a mental health crisis on the street. Really anything that we want to allocate it to, we can.
So you also want to give tax breaks to people who would volunteer to work and nonprofit organizations.
Absolutely. That's my signature program. I'm really excited about that. I've spent
how much of a break would you give them?
I don't want to spit out numbers, but I mean, I think it would depend on the number of hours that they spend volunteering, and how it's how it's helping the city, right? So everything I have that is a tax break or some kind of an incentive, I also have a way that it helps the city. So volunteering is going to help the city in general. We're like getting free workers basically, or discounted workers. I don't want to say it that way because it sounds like it's unethical.
But nonprofits do a lot of important things in the city. They deal with seniors. They deal with Meals on Wheels. They do all kinds of things. And there's also education programs.
Yeah, and I think it's also a way for New Yorkers to feel more involved in their community. When you get out and volunteer, you feel better about yourself. So it's kind of an additional mental health care system for the city. You're contributing, and it's something that you can do with your family. A lot of people spend too much time outside of the home, where they're away from their family because they have to raise money or make money. And this is something that you can do with your family together.
So what would you do about teachers and fixing education?
I'm very passionate about the public school system. I'm the daughter of a public school teacher. I myself attended public school, albeit in New Jersey, which, please don't use that against me. I moved to New York City when I was 17. But coming from New Jersey is actually a secret weapon that I have, because people like to crap on New Jersey a lot. We have one of the top public school systems in the country. And so I know what an amazing public school system. So how do you fix New York City? Absolutely. I think the number one thing I want to do that's fast is paying teachers more to work in underperforming schools. So right now, all the teachers are kind of getting paid the same. Why would a teacher opt to do a much more difficult job for the same amount of pay? It doesn't make sense.
Well, how much do you want to raise it?
Again, I don't want to give out exact numbers because I feel like then I'm going to be held to them. I think it's looking at the budget, looking at what we have, and looking at the test scores in these individual schools. How big of a burden is this going to be on the individual teacher? A lot of teachers don't even make enough money to live in the same place that they teach, which is then just making their commute longer. So,
I mean, the starting salary for teachers can be, depending on what grade level, could be $100,000. I mean, it's not exactly a low salary. $100,000 certainly is not a low salary, but I think it's a lot closer to like $60,000, $70,000 for most places that we're looking for a school teacher salary. I think that $100,000 they must have a lot of education under their belt, which we're just not seeing in the New York public schools. So how would you stand up to Donald Trump, who's been running roughshod over the budgets of people in New York?
I mean, I think you stand up to Donald Trump by, I haven't committed any crimes yet that I need his help on. So I think that's one of the main things. A lot of people talk about, Eric Adams or certainly Andrew Cuomo being, a better fit for mayor because he's stronger and tougher. In one of the first public interviews Andrew Cuomo did after he announced that he was running for mayor, his response to Donald Trump, who he was supposed to be the guy standing up to him, he was like, he's a New Yorker. We'll give him a chance. I think he has some good ideas.
So you wouldn't give him a chance?
I mean, I think we've given Donald Trump a lot of chances. I think, his second term is far worse than his first already. I don't think we have to give him any more chances. I was actually a Democrat who was willing to give him a chance the first time he was elected. His chances are up now.
But you would have, we only have about 15 seconds left, so you would be tough with him?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't have any friends in politics, so I don't need to start making them now with Donald Trump.
All right, we're going to have to leave it right there for now, but we'll be right back. Thank you for joining me. According to the latest polls, former Governor Andrew Cuomo is way ahead in the New York City mayor's race. I asked New Yorkers why. They're weighing in on your point. A new poll has Andrew Cuomo with a big lead in the mayor's race. Why do you think that is?
I think New York wants a change.
He knows the job.
Name recognition.
Say what you will about Andrew Cuomo. He was the face and the person that during COVID-19 guided New York through the toughest time of maybe its history.
I think New Yorkers are looking for someone to stand up to President Trump.
Well, he's a proven record that he's a good good politician.
I guess people are weighing whether or not all the sexual harassment stuff, versus a good governor.
Honestly, I probably, because of that scandal with the current mayor, he was caught dead to right, and he made that deal with Trump and his people, I believe.
Do you think that's why Andrew Cuomo's in first place?
Yeah, they'll take a sex scandal over Trump. New York will.
The same poll has Mayor Adams in fourth place. Why is he not in first place?
Well, I think it's people are conflicted.
I mean, really? Is that a question?
Maybe because what's going on with him.
Read the news.
I think it's pretty clear why.
Why?
All of his corruption.
So I want to throw out some names too. Tell me if you know about any of who these people are. Adrian Adams.
No.
Oh yeah, she's to be on the council.
Adrian Adams?
Yeah.
Sound familiar.
Michael Blake.
No.
Maybe.
Michael Blake?
He seems to be very intelligent and has experience.
Brad Lander?
Yeah.
I think I've heard his name.
Zohar Mamdani?
Nope.
No, normally.
I don't know this man.
He has quite a following. I think he has a good chance.
Zelnor Murray?
No.
Zelnor Murray?
No.
Jessica Ramos?
Oh, Zilner. I've heard of Zilner.
Jessica Ramos?
No.
I think she's a very good politician, but she's up and coming.
Scott Stringer?
Scott? He lives around here. Yes.
Of course.
Whitney Tozer?
Whitney. Maybe.
Not a clue.
Who do you think is the best person to become the next mayor?
As it stands right now, Andrew Cuomo.
I'm honestly not sure. I gotta read more on the candidates.
I think Brad Landers, perhaps the existing mayor.
I think Mayor Adams should be the mayor of New York City.
I have no idea. All I know is I'm not voting for Adams. Maybe Brad.
Probably Cuomo.
So who do you think would be the best person to become mayor?
AOC.
She's not running.
I don't know. I don't know who would be best. The people will vote. It's the way it works around here.